Let's get to it. Welcome back to the Game Changers, the disenfranchised, the people that are really just tired and wanting to make some changes. And if you're new to the channel, that's what we're about, the dedication here. This is the Maturity Project. I'm your host, Chad Everett Rocheers. And what has come to mind to me, and we seem to have an abandonment issue where it's not my responsibility. They're a fuck up, so I don't need to do anything to help them. Just get them away from me. Move the negative away from me. Stop whatever. We have so many people that, even if you have the ability, you have the knowledge, you have everything necessary to make the changes for somebody else, you just don't, and I'm not telling people to enable anybody. For me, look, this is my thing. This is what I like to do. This is where I have a lot of my purpose, not my entirety, but a lot of my purpose is in this. You have some people that were raised in a way that they're so dynamically developed. All 8 areas, all 8 of the pillars of maturity are all developed within that person to degrees. Now, whether or not they understand it is very likely that that's not the case. They don't understand that that's what they've had done. They just have the functionality of having each one of those areas developed in such a way that their life seems to work better than others. And then you have a lot of people that are struggling, trying to figure out how to make this life work. So what comes to mind is, I am for the losers. I'm for the underdog. I'm for the people that are challenged because they don't know any better and life just keeps sucking. The ones that are like, I've tried so much and I can't get through. I tried so much and I failed. It's just not for me. I'm not going to be able to be successful here. Those are the people that I really, at this point right now, am focusing heavily on, because they're the disenfranchised. They're the abandoned people. Because what do we get? We have a movement right now that is under the guise of being optimistic and being caring and accepting and loving and all of this, unless you're toxic. What kind of dogmatic teaching is it that teaches you that it's, all love and support people and just give, love, until they get that fucking red T painted on their chest? They're toxic. Now, I'm not telling you to go out of your way and do anything right now. I'm just saying, if you've got the resources to be able to support people in their growth, it is a great endeavor, but only if you have that capacity. You really need to focus on you. Get yourself right. But I'm not telling you to abandon people along the way. You just might need to quarantine them until you're developed to the point you can handle it. For me, I've had people who witnessed me go to the worst rock bottom of my life, which has been recent because I've done a reset again. And that reset was associated with specific goals that were not met because it was not fully structured, and I've learned a lot from it. And there's also what we know we want does not mean that it's lined up for us to achieve that, at least not yet. Because you don't have what your goals are in life or what you want in life yet because you don't deserve it yet. You don't have the skill sets to create it. You don't have the structure to maintain it. And you don't have to worry about the remorse of losing it if you were to obtain it right now. Life just keeps telling you, you got to keep developing yourself. You're not ready yet. You're not ready yet because you haven't got it. All of the things necessary to be successful are in front of you right now. You just don't know how each one of these little experiences, the pieces of life, the things that amount up to the goal itself, you don't know how those things, how you get them. You don't know that they're in front of you now because your goal, the way that you see it, is it's the big picture stuff. It's the, I need $1 million in my bank account or whatever it is, 100 million, whatever. People are all over the place right now with this crazy ass economy, with what they think wealth is anymore. You got people that think, well, if I don't have $100 million tomorrow, then I failed. Okay, well, if you want $100 million, all right, by what means do you want to get it? So, and then what lines up with that to be congruent with that outcome? So we have people that have made attempts and they didn't have the guidance, the mentorship, the support to understand that, yes, you did not see the success you thought you should have in that situation. But you losing that fight is actually aiding in you winning the battle. You needed to lose that fight to gain something, whether that's just insight, if that's whatever it is, right? Like, you had to lose that battle, that fight for something. You know, you may have had to actually lose it so that you gained a little bit more of your own ability to understand what it's like to lose something, right? To lose a fight like that. That might be it. And that's not a big deal. You know, it's like in martial arts. When you first start martial arts, you're gonna lose a lot of those fights, and they're actually organized and structured fights. They're very rule driven, so that no one is actually abused or beat up in a way that is not for growth, right? I've gone through a lot of martial arts training. I absolutely adore it. I love it. My son's gonna be involved in it. You know, it's a great thing. It teaches a great degree of discipline. But in the beginning, it really is just, you're getting your butt kicked, man. You're not winning those fights. You start to win little ones when you're actually paired up with other people that are at a similar level to you. But we don't have that structure in our society, where you don't realize the person that's competing with you is also likely very similar to the place that you're in, or they're either behind you or they're ahead of you. Let's say in the economy, when you're dealing with a business and you're trying to get it going, you have your set price, you know your cost, all of this, and then somebody gives a lower cost or a lower price. You don't know if that's because they actually have access by buying power to have cheaper costs on their goods that they're providing, that you don't have that access, or you don't know they're just trying to do brand recognition and they're taking a loss on the job just to get more people to know about them, but they may be much lower on the development side of the business. And they're winning the job, but they shouldn't win the job because it could very well be the thing that puts them out of business because there's no profit in it. And it's a prayer that other people will recognize them in a way that actually gets them paid. But they don't realize that that low cost you just gave that person is going to be an expected low cost for the next person when they hear about it. That's a desperate move for a lot of people. It doesn't mean it's completely wrong. It just means that that move can create more harm for their current goal, and it might be enough that actually just takes them out, because they might sink themselves in so much debt that they're reminded regularly that they made bad decisions, but they don't have a way of aligning those decisions and the pain from that in a way that builds them up. They're just like, man, I'm gonna have to close the business. I'm gonna have to lose this one, and then they may never even try again, because they don't have the guidance, they don't have the support, they don't have the mentorship, the authorities that actually can give them enough of an awareness to what it's supposed to be like. You know, I've had people recently at my rock bottom tell me that I need to have certain people out of my life because of the challenges that were produced by having these people in my life, and specifically, you know, which ones and all of that. And, you know, and having it that people are qualifying it as a bad thing for me because I live in that moment. I live with the reality of what's there. You know, and the great thing about it is that there's lessons that I'm learning, but people don't understand, even though they're right there. They love me, they care for me, they're supportive of me, they really want to see the best for me, but they don't understand the full attachments that I have for each one of the relationships that I'm associated with. They don't necessarily know the depth of value and the depth of return and the developmental factors that are shared between myself and that other person. No, they just don't know that stuff. But they do see a degree of stress and struggling and challenges, and they see how it wears on you, and then they project themselves into that position to say whether or not they can handle it or not if they were going through it, if they're empathetically connected. Sympathetically connected, they don't typically project into it. They're just like, I get it. Yeah, you told me, I understand. Empathetically, they're there. They're like, I don't think I could tolerate this. I know I can't tolerate this. So what we have is we have this constant abandonment that our society is encouraging others to abandon people in. Now, again, I'm not telling you to go on this rampage where you're going through your life trying to save everybody. There's a tactfulness to understand where people are so that you can create the right kind of scaffolding to help get them out of the circumstances they're in. By the way, scaffolding is not doing it for them. It's doing it with them. But that's only when you have the agreement. But there's a process of knowing whether or not that person has a history of using people to basically parasitically live off of them because of their empathy. And they don't even recognize it because that's just the way that they were brought into reality. There's all kinds of things that are there. I'm all for the underdog and helping get them back on track or to get them on track. If you perpetually lost, I'm here for that, right? Like, I have lost so many times in my life. I can't tell you how many fights I've lost, not just in martial arts, but it also gained me belts. It gained me ranking value. It gained me skills by losing, because I take on the challenge, man. And I got to tell you what, I take on so many challenges, I look worse than Rocky at the end of the majority of the movies, man. I've just got my ass kicked. But it continues to help me develop, because I live my life to help give people insights in a way that can change their life. I'm not changing their life, and I'm not giving advice. It's just insights, man. It's like, you know what, from here to here, this is what I've done, and these are the connections that I've made, and it helps other people start to facilitate the same patterns in their own life. And how do you qualify a good relationship? Or can you take a bad relationship or an undesirable relationship and turn it into good soil for a fertile future and potentially even save that person from the horror or the misery that they're used to creating for themselves? I stand in that place. I stand for the losers. I stand for the people that just can't seem to win. I stand for the people that have had a history of challenges, that want to have a different outcome. Those people deserve opportunities, and they typically don't get them because we have these movements like the no toxic person movement, the optimistic thing where people are like, because by the way, some pessimists going around calling people toxic, typically it's the optimists that do it. Sounds real optimistic, doesn't it? But anyway, it's fascinating what kind of trickery we do on ourselves because we adopt these kind of ideologies that start giving us sometimes righteousness or validation for avoidance and things like that strip you of your ability to grow. It does. Like, well, sometimes you just have to know when to walk away. Yeah, you should know when to walk away. And sometimes you got to learn when to walk away from an ideology that doesn't serve you and it's killing relationships in your life. But you need to be in a position that at least you're strong enough that you're not going to be completely collapsed. Very few people can take complete collapse. Very few. But I'll tell you this. You don't like a champion because they always win. You don't like leaders that have never struggled. You want to know that your champion has struggled. You want to know your leader has been through so much shit that they know how to talk about it. You want to know that that person gave a damn enough to work their way through those challenges so that they can be there for you. You want to know that because you don't want a champion that doesn't give a fuck about you. That's not the way we work. You want a champion that you believe cares about you. Even if they don't, you still want one that you believe does. So I have broke myself down so many times in my life. I know what it's like to hit that bottom and be a loser. And plenty of people now are qualifying and telling me how much I've won in certain areas of my life. But that's because I've always been willing to just take it down to the bottom if I have to. Because there's something I missed that is making it harder than it really needs to be. And that is where my lesson is. Because where somebody else moves fluidly and smoothly through it doesn't mean that they have some sort of special power or some gift that they were anointed with at birth. No, they have skill sets. Some of that does happen to be the way that they're just genetically predisposed for specific challenges in life, and they work well with those things. I'm not mathematically gifted. My father was actually very incredibly mathematically gifted. I'm not. I'm gifted in a different area. And if you were to call it that, I have a lifelong desire and understand how people think and why they think and what they do and looking at details that make a difference for us and what really is what giving birth to the Maturity Project. So I'm out to make those differences. So if you've struggled and you find yourself struggling in any of the 8 areas of maturity, actually it's anywhere in your life, you don't need to qualify it yourself. Where are you struggling in life? Because I promise you, it will come back. Guarantee you, it will come back to the 8 different pillars of maturity. Those 8 areas, it will be associated with it. It's just the way we are. So if you're struggling with relationships, where are you with your community and your maturity? And meaning, like, how do you make friendships? And like, because the community is relationship that is using also the pillar of emotion. And if it's an intimate relationship where it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever partnership you're looking to create or you found yourself in, that's going to be community, maturity, sexuality, and then some other variation or some other areas that you have alignment with. So we have so many wonderful attributes and abilities, but most of us are scared to ever even show them because we're so familiar with the losses that we've had. We get ashamed of our losses. We get frustrated. We get worried about anybody finding out that we're not as good at something than what we thought we were, what we wanted them to believe we are. Because looking bad is just horrible to a lot of people, and most people would rather die than look bad. It's crazy as hell. But if you think about it from the ego's perspective, they look bad in a certain way. That is death in its own way. There's like something about you that will die once it's discovered. But anyway, yeah. So across the board, this is it, man. You have so many different experiences. You just don't have them lined up right yet. Once you know how to start working on the formulas of success that are not, this real stale approach to it, it's more of the immediate, direct back to yourself. You can see the development within yourself. That's where you will gain ground. You will gain a lot in that world. So the thing that I really hope this is the thing that I do, and this is what I'm up to. I'm not giving up. For the same thing, like people telling me I should give up on a particular relationship that was causing me so much pain and challenge, all that stuff. I didn't for a reason, because humanity is on the other side of that. And I won't give up on humanity. I just realize where my restrictions and my challenges are, and then it's up to me to figure out how to overcome that, because humanity is in it. That's what I do. And I'm not going to give up on anyone. Now, what I may do is assign that person a direction of where to grow, but I'm not giving up. I may remove myself to the degree necessary for that person not to be enabled by me being there, but I'm not giving up. I want everybody to have a chance. And a lot of people are struggling in areas they've closed off at some other stage of their life because they were so embarrassed, or they felt so much overwhelming pain about how much of a failure it was for them, that it's restricting their abilities to be who they are now, because we've made up a meaning to something and we held back on that area of expression. And then we wonder why we feel restless, or that we're just not quite making a difference in life, or we don't feel like we have a purpose, or things like that, because you shut parts of yourself down and you can't get fulfillment in that area that was shut down. In fact, when you start to feel that area get activated again, there's a pretty good chance you're going to feel nervous, anxiety, or whatever, something about it that gets you to start moving away from whatever it is that's getting you to open up there. Because you don't want that part of Pandora's box to open up again. You don't want that lesson to come back. Because you don't see it as a lesson, actually. You see it as just chaos or pain or whatever. And that's a lesson you need for growth. It is going to limit you in the fulfillment of life. Now, you may say, I'm completely fulfilled in life, Chad. Okay, think about the times that you realize you're not. You may just be on a high right now because you've achieved something that you really have been after, and you got the joy of that achievement. You may have just for the first time find yourself financially stable, or having more than enough money, and you can travel or do whatever and find your way through enjoying the facts that you have that ability. You're on a high. Eventually, the other pillars in life, the other pillars of maturity, are going to show up, and you're going to realize that you're struggling again, and it'll get challenging because you have the money to do something, but you still seem to deal with it, whatever that problem is. Easy on that one. Easy example would be you got the money, but your relationships always seem to be shit. You may have changed the look of the person you're dating because you can attract different people because you have the money to attract them. They may deal with you in a different way, like put up with more crap that the other person's in your life didn't, because they're attached to the fact you have money and you may be able to give them a better life. But eventually that starts to feel vacuous and challenging, or empty. So across the board, it's just lining up our areas of maturity so that we can have a better outcome. Get past the things that are holding you back. And most of these areas of maturity you're blind to. You don't know it's a problem because you're focused on something else. You're focused on getting a promotion at work and the rest of your life will come together. You're focused on finding the right relationship, your life will come together. You're focused on losing 10 pounds and your life will come together. Whatever it is, you just have this idea that something will be given, you'll achieve something and your life will come together. Well, if you're not actually working on all 8 areas of maturity, you'll find that eventually it gets to be a problem, a challenge. So it's so incredibly, it's sad. It's its own tragedy to know that people live their entire life. And it really was them themselves that have limited their abilities to achieve certain things. So with that, you don't have to have a 200 IQ in order to be successful in life. You don't need to have the significant amount of money in order to be successful in life. There's a lot of things you don't need. Also, by the way, success is very individualized. It's a matter of what is it that you see as being successful, because you will find out when you've gotten to that point. A lot of times that's just a distraction overall or something you're attached to that actually is not to full fulfillment. It's a fraction or a part of the fulfillment you're seeking in life. And that's very common, because most people are not in the pursuit of all things that they want to experience in life, or all areas that are necessary to be fully content and fulfilled when you get to that goal. So that's what I stand for. And I'm really out and I'm passionate about making a difference for the losers, the ones that have been given up on. There are a lot of reasons why I do what I do, but ultimately at the end of the day, I just want to be able to help people achieve the goals that they have in life, because my goals in life are beyond theirs, but theirs is required. They have to be there. They have to achieve theirs, because mine's built with that. Beyond theirs is I don't have the same goals. So my thing is, again, I've likened myself to Moses in my own way, and I'm not actually going to find myself in heaven. I'm going, the heaven other people are in pursuit of. I have my own. But my goal is to help you create your heaven in life. And whether I'm granted access at the end of all of this into the afterlife, who the hell knows what that's going to turn into. But I'm not doing it for that. I'm not. I'm doing it because there is a lot of suffering in this world, where the people that are suffering, if they had the right piece of information or the right insight, it would all change for them. And that's my dedication, is to help those people. I want to help everybody. But, and that actually is every person. They have that. It's just a matter of who do they have to guide them. And so a lot of times it's just setting the stage so that they will know that something is, that there is a piece of information that will take them somewhere. Something that is actually going to gain traction for their progress towards their goals. So that's what I'm out for. I want to support in any way possible. And right now, the 8 areas of maturity is one of the best ways to support people. Actually, it is ultimately what I feel is the best way of supporting people. You get them to understand where they have an immaturity that's holding them back, and then what could be supportive of getting them to develop that area for themselves. You don't develop it for them. At the most, and what I do with my students or what I do with my clients, is I will scaffold with them. And scaffolding is where you build up a success model around them and you show them how to use it. You demonstrate it while they're with you. Same like whenever I do my gym consulting, I'll go in and then build up the right kind of system to help them become more successful. That's my business side of maturity as well. How to be successful, and then I'm training and developing the people that are there that need to do that when I'm gone. And to get the verification they know how to do it and watch the demonstration, give the right challenges, and then turn it over. It's yours now. I remove the scaffolding there now, sustainable. And then how to build the training models in order to long-term create success in that. Same thing I do with this, the maturity project. So scaffold around the challenges you have if you're a client or one of my customers. Then you build up the scaffolding, support through the process, turn it over. Simple. But it's simple enough that nobody seems to really do it. I mean, it's basic standard training models that a lot of companies implement. The problem is that they lose sight of it because of how simple it really is. You know, they're looking for the complexity that's going to give them some sort of edge, when a lot of times just do the basics. Keep it simple. You know, you add your flair when you've got the complete foundation solid and simple. Then you add your flair, what makes you unique. But you don't damage the foundation. You keep working on that. So, all right, that's what I got for today. I'm out to help everybody, but who I'm targeting right now at this stage of my growth and my business is I'm out for the losers. I'm out for the people that have just tried it so many times they don't know what to do. The people that are tired of giving up, but they just can't seem to stop trying. So that's those people, man. You've got the right energy. You got the right setting. It's just we got to draw some dots, right? And to be evaluated for where you are with your maturity in all 8 areas will help break you free from so much. So it really will. All right. Till next time, I am your host, Chad Everett Broshears. This is the Maturity Project. Today's conversation about shake off the bullshit. You know, I'm out to help the losers and all the people that have just tried and tired of losing, tired of failing. You know, there's so much more out there. It's just put the right piece in place and it all works, right? It's like gears. You got a bunch of them turning. This turning over here and it's working in that. This is turning over here and it's kind of working over here, but something just seems to be missing, and it seems to take so much energy just to have those two running the way that they are. And then you figure out something that you didn't realize, and that puts that gear right in the middle, and they all support each other. And before you know it, they're just all turning with more ease and better progress. So now there's 8 gears. And they all have all these other little ones that they work into, and they're all turning. It's just at what level, right? How many, and then what's the problems? So let's go in there. Let's figure out what those are. If you have not subscribed to the channel, do it. Join the community. Put a little comment in the comment section that you caught the video and what you picked up out of this. The community of maturity, man. Be a part of this. You know, this is something that I'm passionate about, and I'm going to work until the day I die that this thing becomes successful. You know, and that it really does break through and helps people. So share the video with somebody in your life that you want to make a difference with, a meaningful conversation. Start something today. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't worry about not doing it right. You can practice it. That's what the whole point of practice is actually being okay with not doing it right the first time. You will eventually get it. You just keep practicing. That's what it's all about. So keep practicing. Let's get to it, man. All right. Remember, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. So many of those people truly just did not have the right kind of insights and guidance along the way. And the reason why what they've turned and what they created is that they just finally likely got desperate. Or they sold out, right? They sold their soul to the devil, kind of thing, how people like to say that. But we've got a lot of abilities, man. Let's not create any more paths to hell. All right. Till next time. All right. Comment in the comment section. Let's hear from you, okay? I'll talk to you later. Let's get up to something. Let's get up to it together.